What's up, everybody? Well, I got another FIREBAT mini PC gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna check out Mirthwood on here. Now, so far it runs alright on the Allies. The Steam Deck was mostly good, but had way more spots where it dropped under 30. So this one usually slots between those, so I have a feeling we'll be able to probably stay over 30 most of the time, unless VRAM becomes an issue. But hey, let's stop wondering and let's hop ourselves into the game.
Alright, we're just gonna start off on 10p very high, just like we did on the Allies. And I'm gonna try to do the carbon copy what I did on those, but I think I messed up a little bit here and there, but we still at least do 900p in 720p medium and low and all that good stuff. So let's get into the game and see how it does with this first. Alright, here we are in the beginning of the game, just like before, so I'll just shut up, let it talk, and then we'll get some gameplay.
You find light when all grows dark, and your story begins in darkness. But tonight, in the cool of the old vineyard, the air is still, offering you a moment to reflect on your past.
Alright, well, this one definitely does not seem to be doing quite as good in the FPS. It's acting a lot more like the Steam Deck was.
Now, where's Asher gone off to?
Alright though, why don't you use the opportunity to move on? Alright, we just dropped it down to high now.
Ah, there he is.
Alright, let's get those shrooms. And then we can get the ginseng. Alright, that takes care of those. Now we just need that ginseng. Alright, time to move on once more. Alright, now for 900p medium. Alright though, I would say that pretty much covers that. I think that's probably good for time, for making it clickable in the chapters on YouTube, so let's get ourselves into the game. Alright, so now for 900p medium. Alright, cool. See, I'm glad that it was glitched out like this. And a bunch of the computers, it got me into the chair and I couldn't leave. So, luckily you can skip this tutorial thing altogether, so it's not like you can't play the game, but that's kind of lame if you're trying to just learn what to do and go through the tutorial, you know? To just get stuck here. Luckily, though, I'm sitting all the way back there, so I do not get stuck. And we can continue through just like we did on the allies and whatnot. But I wanted to do that on everything. But you don't always get your way.
The embers of war burn. After all these years, it has finally reached your doorstep. You must reach the docks.
Alright, we gotta get to those docks. And there's a thing hidden over here, just for those people wondering. Now we can go get the heirloom. And at least in this area, it's not doing too bad on the FPS now, but once we get to the actual island, it starts to struggle in certain spots. But everything did, so, well, except for the super high-end stuff. But even that had little stutters here and there. Nothing could play this game 100% smooth. But not every indie game is the same, and it's still more than playable on almost everything, so that's at least good. Ah, it's this dude. Let's kill him, and then we'll move on. Well, in this case, tumblers are better than pumpers. Tumbling is helping me not die. Hell yeah. Yeah, that makes that really easy. Alright, let's loot him. We'll go run on over here. And I think this, like I said, is probably going to be a good spot to move on along. So let's go do just that. Now I'll do 720p low, which is your best shot for getting the most FPS, of course. But alright. I think that's probably more than good enough for being it clickable on YouTube, so into the game we go. Alright, here we go. 720p low now, which is obviously your best bet for the best FPS. I think it still has its issues here and there. I don't think there's anything else really for me up here. I think I've looked before. But there is something down here. There it is. A rusted helm. But still, I think better than what I had, so. There we go. Wouldn't let me use it for a second there. This game has some little tiny bugs here and there, but still pretty fun for what it is. And I think it was like 20 bucks, so can't really complain too much. Except for I still don't like having my character get stuck at the dinner table. Luckily, that's just the prologue and stuff. You don't have to do any of that. You can skip all of this. But I figured it would be helpful for me to learn how to play. But luckily, I was able to save the game and get more data further along. Or even if I didn't, I could have skipped this, like I said. So it's not the end of the world. Alright, cool. We kicked that guy's ass. Probably should heal, though. Yeah, see what I mean? It still has its drops. I'm curious what's going to be when we get to the other land. The Steam Deck could not stay over 60. Now, this thing we are recording with, so if it barely stays over 30, it'll probably will stay over 30, you know, if we weren't recording with OBS.
Alas, all good things must end. It came to pass that bitter conflict and ceaseless war engulfed the continent. Those who dared to brave the sea fled. You were there. This is where your journey begins.
Alright, let's move on.
Alright, now let's get some camera recorded gameplay
The
here.
man beckons you, and though you've never met, murmurs your name. Welcome to the free lands, he says with a crooked-toothed grin. Someone's been waiting for you, almost as though they foresaw your arrival. I know not who he is. He gestures towards the steed. Ride west. Bring this horse to the stranger. The road will take you where you need to be.
Well, alright. Come on, horse. We ride to the morrow. Shame we can't just get this kind of FPS the whole time. That'd be great.
After a night of troubled sleep, your thoughts dwell upon your distant kin and a peculiar hooded figure. A blend of fear and wonder churns in your stomach.
Alright, we definitely had some stutters there.
Where do you find yourself now?
But let's run around and see if we can't stay above 30 at least.
Meet at the Hazy Hag.
The cave has been sealed. Looks like some outpost or something. Got some cow cheese. Cow cheese. We got that cow cheese. A strawberry painting. That's a pretty weird thing to just be out here in the middle of nowhere. Oh, sure are a lot of rabbits. If I wanted to kill a bunch of rabbits, that would be pretty easy. But I don't want to do that. I got plenty of food already. No reason to kill them. Now, life or death, and it's like you haven't eaten them, whatever, then you gotta do what you gotta do. Nope, I can't carry any more food. See, I already have enough food. Oh, because I must already have those. I go, how am I able to pick that up? But that's right, I already had those. Why, hello, Misty? Nope, can't take the raisins. And there's a head of something right there, so that's definitely good. That makes you feel all nice and welcome, doesn't it? Oh shit. Oh, I don't have my freaking sword out. There we go. Alright, let's heal real quick. Ooh, he got me. I got you back. Oh, we got him. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get those to go. Alright, at least we took him out relatively easily this time. Last time he hit me with a bunch of arrows. Ooh, more bandits. Tattered leather armor. Now we got some greaves. But now we don't have any pants. Alright, that heals you a little bit. There we go. Now we're not hungry anymore. Can't take no more food. What? Ooh, something got done eating that. Probably that wolf I got killed by last time. Oh, this time I found the hermit's hut. Alright, I think that is probably more than good enough for the gameplay, so why don't we go ahead and wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Mirthwood on the FIREBAT Mini PC, and definitely had its moments where it's dropping frames here and there, but I didn't really see it drop too much under 30 too often. I think once or twice, kind of like the Ally Z1 Extreme, but it was still more than playable. So now we can go ahead and wrap this up, and we can go see what it's like on the small form factor PC right next to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video though, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys, and until the next video, peace out, guys.